Hello, and welcome to my presentation on monarch butterfly tagging. Monarch butterflies are one of the most iconic species in North America, known for their easily recognizable coloration pattern. Unfortunately, monarch populations have been declining due to a variety of environmental threats. In this presentation, I will explore how tagging helps track monarch migration, the factors contributing to their decline, and how pollinator gardens can play a crucial role in conservation efforts. So first, I'd like to just provide a little bit of background on this species of butterfly. Their species name is Danaus plexippus. Their diet consists of milkweed and nectar. Caterpillars will feed on the milkweed. In fact, adult female monarchs will only lay their eggs on milkweed plants because that's the source of food for their young. Adult monarchs, on the other hand, will feed on flower nectar. For example, in these petunia flowers, this is the type of flowers they will get nectar from. Monarch butterflies primarily inhabit forests, mountains, prairies, and grasslands, and they are native to North America. They have been classified as endangered in 2022 by the IUCN. The International Union for Conservation of Nature has placed monarchs in the red list of threatened species that are at risk of extinction. As of now, the Endangered Species Act does not protect monarch butterflies. However, this may be changing in the next few years, especially since their population has seen a decline by 80% in the last 3 decades, according to the World Wildlife Fund. Actually, when we went butterfly tagging last year, we were struggling to even find any monarchs to tag around the campus. So just to show you their diet, on the left photo right here, this is an adult monarch butterfly that is feeding on the nectar from flowers. And then the right photo is a picture of a monarch caterpillar that's feeding on milkweed. The migration of monarch butterflies is one of the most incredible phenomena in the natural world. They start off in their breeding locations in the US and Canada during the spring season. Their migratory period is between August and October, with their migration ending in central Mexico for the winter. Some of these butterflies travel up to 3,000 miles each year. They can travel up to 100 miles per day with the right conditions. So, if you think about it, it really is incredible because these critters are so small, but they're traveling a significant amount of distance. And it must be really exhausting for them. When they travel, they ride air currents to move quickly throughout their journey. Monarchs also use environmental cues like the position of the sun and the magnetic pull of the earth to navigate their flight path. Actually, scientists don't exactly know how this works yet, so that's an area of research for them as well. Once they reach their overwintering site, the monarchs huddle together to stay warm for the winter. In the forests in Mexico, the trees there are covered in butterflies, monarch butterflies just huddled together to stay warm. They hibernate and enter diapause, which means they pause their sexual development. So when spring arrives, they can travel up north and breed again. So I'll be using this map to help visualize the migration pattern of monarch butterflies. As I've mentioned before, they are native to North America, so we will focus in that region. Their breeding sites are in the US and Canada, so in this region right here and right here. They travel up to 3,000 miles south to central Mexico. So from these regions, they're coming down here. And this is where they end up. Some monarchs do remain at the breeding sites because not all of them are migratory. The migratory butterflies will have longer lifespans than the non-migratory ones, and then once they get to Mexico, they are going to hibernate and wait for spring to arrive. The decline in monarch populations can be attributed to several factors. Habitat loss, which is caused by urbanization and deforestation. This has reduced the availability of milkweed, the only plant that monarch caterpillars will eat. The widespread use of herbicides in agriculture has also led to the destruction of milkweed plants. Without habitats, monarchs will have to travel further or not have any place to stop at all during migration to breed, feed, and rest. Another major factor contributing to population decline is climate change. It disrupts the monarch's migration timing, making it harder for them to reach their overwintering sites at the right time. When they arrive too early, they might not have enough energy reserves to last them the whole winter. If they arrive too late, they may not have enough time to find shelter in the forests. Additionally, climate change has resulted in increasing the frequency of extreme weather events, which may limit the food and habitat availability for the monarchs during migration. So, what can we do to help these butterflies? First, there's monarch tagging. Monarch tagging is essential for managing conservation efforts for these butterflies. We can do this by tracking their migration routes, understanding population trends, and assessing the impacts of environmental changes on their migration. So through monarch tagging, we can collect data on their movements that we can use to develop better strategies to protect their habitats. Additionally, we can do habitat restoration through pollinator gardens with native plants like milkweed to provide them with the necessary resources to survive. Monarchs play an important role in many ecosystems because they are pollinators. So, in helping these butterflies thrive, we are also supporting other ecosystems in our planet. Both tagging and habitat restoration efforts are key to ensuring the survival of this species. So, the process of tagging monarch butterflies is actually a pretty straightforward process, but it requires care to avoid harming the butterflies. We use soft fine mesh nets to gently capture them. And then once we get them out of the nets, we tag them with a small tag with a unique ID number, like you can see in this picture right here. This is a photo of a butterfly that I tagged last year. And then this is the unique ID right here at the very bottom. And then we place the tags on the discal cell. So you need to place the tag in a specific location on the butterfly. That way it won't interfere with their flight. And then this unique ID number is recorded in a data sheet. And then after that, we release the monarchs. And then hopefully those tags can get recovered so we can tell, where they ended up and basically know about their migration patterns. I also want to add that Governor State has a butterfly ranch. It's out in the sculpture park of the campus. This photo was taken from an overlook structure there, so it's kind of hard to tell, but this area is covered in tall grass with milkweed scattered throughout. And this is where we go out to tag monarchs around August, which is the peak season for butterflies. Here is a sample data collection sheet that we use when we tag butterflies. The ID number of the tag needs to be recorded, so right here. And then the date that you tag the butterfly, male or female. RW just means if you caught a wild butterfly or if you reared it. And then the location of the tagging. So let's go into more detail about the significance of monarch tagging. Monarch tagging plays a critical role in conservation because it helps us track migration patterns and population health. By looking at where tags are recovered, we can identify key stopover sites along their migration routes. This allows us to focus our conservation efforts on these sites to ensure that monarchs are able to make it to their final destination. Using this information, we can also assess how environmental changes affect their survival. Are they being impacted by the severe weather fluctuations, or is the lack of habitat a more pressing problem for them? For example, if we happen to only have a small population of monarchs returning up north to their breeding sites next year, we can look at the data from this year and determine what could have caused this. Let's say, for example, a lot of the tags were recovered somewhere along here, and they were traveling from up here and up here. And then there were barely any tags that were recovered in central Mexico. Then we can look at what could have caused um, a lot of the butterflies to stop in this area. And then we can determine what can we do to improve this region right here so that they could make it to their final destination in central Mexico. So, why is it important for us to save monarch butterflies? Sure, they're really pretty to look at, but they also play an essential role as pollinators. As they feed on nectar from flowers, they transfer pollen, which helps plants reproduce. For example, the plants and the flowers in the background. This is crucial for maintaining biodiversity and ecosystem health. A decline in monarch populations can disrupt plant reproduction and affect food chains. Without pollinators, plants would struggle to reproduce, resulting in less food availability, like fruits, veggies, and seeds for humans and other animals to consume. One of the most effective ways to support monarch conservation is by creating pollinator gardens. These gardens will include native plants, especially milkweed, which is essential for monarch caterpillars. Nectar rich flowers also provide food for adult monarchs and other pollinators. Pollinator gardens are an easy and accessible way for individuals and communities to contribute to the conservation efforts and create safe places for monarchs along their migration routes. So, for Earth Week last spring, I was helping the biology department with making their pollinator garden. So, the right photo is actually the before picture. We use those tools to get rid of the invasive plants. That's why the left photo looks a little bare because there were too many invasive plants there that we had to get rid of. And then we made sure that there's milkweed there and other stuff that other pollinators would need to survive. In conclusion, monarch butterflies are facing significant challenges like habitat loss, climate change, and milkweed decline, but we can take action to protect them. First, we have monarch tagging, which provides essential data that helps scientists track migration patterns and helps them understand what's going on with the population decline. Next, we have pollinator gardens that offer a potential solution to help support monarchs during their migration. They provide food and habitat for the butterflies as they make their long trip down south. And lastly, I just want to encourage everyone to get involved. You can go out there, plant some milkweed in your garden or in a community garden. And you can also participate in monarch tagging. Governor State holds a monarch tagging event every August. And together, we can make a difference in ensuring the survival of this iconic species for generations to come. And these are the reference that I use to complete my presentation. Thank you.